What is this? Dave, it's red. Do I need a battery? Oh, come on. Sure. It's not on.
Hello, Chett.
Okay, Travis, okay, are you going to move this for me? Are you doing something for the next few minutes? Okay, so just during the introduction, can I do this? Do whatever. Oh, no. Yeah, can we, like, I can't get it past this one? Can we do that? Yeah, exactly. Oh, the up and down arrow? Okay, I can handle this. Holy cow, you might think this is the first time I've ever done this. Welcome everyone to Social Media Breakfast. Can you guys hear me? Okay, maybe I'll have to do this. Welcome everyone. We're excited to be back at Melrose today. Welcome to all of you. How many people have never been to a Social Media Breakfast before? Okay, there's a few of you, so welcome here. We try and host this every month on the second last Friday of the month. And we're excited. We've had it at Melrose quite often, and we're excited to be back here today. Sorry, I'm just going to figure out where we are here. Oh, we'll just go. I'm Don McTaggart, Don McT on Twitter. And one of the most interesting things I found when I did name tags, and I do them after midnight, and somebody always registers for this event after I do name tags after midnight. And that always, but I think there was only 2 people in the entire list this time that did not provide a Twitter handle. And that is by far a new record. Not mandatory to have a Twitter handle to come to this event. Social media is way more than Twitter, but we do find that that we do communicate a lot on Twitter. And with our with advertising for this event, this is number 46, and we've pretty much done all of our advertising through Twitter and using other people's networks. But from a social media perspective, it's been basically on Twitter. And this is the advancing myself. This is our committee, and it takes a lot of people to make this happen. It's a couple of hours long, but people work on it all month. And there's a couple people in the room today. Catherine is going to wave somewhere. You probably met her close to the front door. She's the one that puts together our press release. Terry is here. I don't know, Terry was, you probably met Terry at the door. He's got the orange scarf on. And I know, is Gwen here today? I haven't seen Gwen, right? Crystal is here. And Crystal's over on the side and does our interacting with Twitter during events. Laura's on her way to, Discover Green 2 is the one that handles Twitter during, in between events. And she's on her way to her number 14th Grey Cup with her dad today. And I think that, and Kayla's on the camera. And we're very excited that Kayla's able to help us videotape. We have a few ongoing sponsors that have worked with us every month, providing resources. MarketWire does our press release every month. Matrix Video, Kayla works at Matrix, but Matrix has provided for, I think it's almost 3 years, has provided a camera, projector, and screen whenever we need it. They've been a fabulous resource. Gino Alberta was at event number 1 and has always supported this event. And Travis, Calgary videographer, did I say that right? Video creator, sorry, I can't get it right, helps with the videotaping. And I've said this a lot, and it probably will fall on deaf ears now, but we really are uploading videos. So for past events, we don't have all 46, but we do have a good number of them, and we are going to be putting them up. We've got past sponsors. I'm going to hustle through this a little bit just to make up a few minutes. We're really excited to have Neil Zeller. If you guys have seen any of his work, you need to, you know what a great photographer he is. If he hasn't, you have to check out his website. The photographs that he did when the Peace Bridge first opened were incredible. He spent a lot of time with Mayor Nenshi and Commander Hatfield during the Stampede. And the pictures that he has posted are incredible. He's doing headshots for anybody that wants today. A lot of you have taken advantage of that already. We'll post the link on our Twitter feed where you can download them and in the next week or so. Though these TVs today are playing a Twitter feed, and it is sponsored by Tweetwell Pro. And we're going to be doing more things with Tweetwell, I hope, in the future. But Corey's here, and we're very excited that today we're doing an inaugural event with this software package, and we'll learn more about it at another event. Ad Rodeo is paying for your breakfast today. Really couldn't do these events without somebody coming forward, and somebody pays $350 every month to provide breakfast. And I'm just going to invite Jonathan to say a couple words.
Good morning, team. How's it going? Good. Yeah, okay, I like it. Oh, perfect timing. Look at that. Perfect. Well done. I like it. All right. Nice work. So, quick question. Who's heard of Ad Rodeo before in this room? Couple hands? Okay, good. So I've been coming to these for quite a while now, but I never really talked about Ad Rodeo before, but I have been on the Ad Rodeo team. Ad Rodeo is kind of Calgary's non-for-profit kind of group that brings together the marketing and advertising industry. And we're best known for the Anvil Awards, which happen every April. And it's kind of like a marketing Oscars, but just for this city. So I had a brainwave the other day, and I'm on the board of directors, and I kind of said to everybody, you know what, why don't we sponsor one of these breakfasts? It'd be a good chance to kind of get the word out to a bunch of people who might not necessarily be with agencies, might be independents or on client side or whatnot. So we're here today just to support the community, to give back a little, because we're constantly asking for support from you guys. And we do a lot of events past just the Anvil. So I want you guys to know we do things like we have networking nights. We bring in speakers from across the country. I mean, next year we've already got Steve Schweitzer coming in. We've got the head of New Ad coming in, and they're just going to do talks. And it's a great way to do this. You get to learn, you get to meet a lot of great people, you get to network. So it's a lot of fun. If you do just 2 things today from this, I just want you to go to adrodeo.com. The most important thing, there's a little box there to put your email in, and we've got a little mailing list. We send out a newsletter about once a month. It tells you what's happening, what's coming up, and again, it's a great way to stay involved. And if you do anything else, follow us on Facebook and Instagram as well. And I've got 2 names up there. The first is Ashley Templeton. She's at New Ad. She's our events director. She couldn't make it this morning, but you can get a hold of her if you want any information about our events. And her Twitter is TheGreatAshleyT. And then myself. Please ignore my title. It's not the sexiest one, but it is something that I'm doing on the board as treasurer. It's just because I love social media. I'm totally in marketing. The people who know me here know that. But budgets are important, and I want to learn, so that's why I took over the treasurer role. And you can follow me on Twitter at @TheJCSuperstar. So thanks a lot, guys. Looking forward to this, and enjoy the rest of the morning.
Thanks, Jonathan. Jonathan has been coming for a long time, and I did not know until about 2 months ago that you were actually with Ad Rodeo. So really, really excited that you're here and that you're able to do this today. We really appreciate it. This is a favorite spot of ours. We've actually met at Melrose quite often, and we're very excited. We're always excited to come back. The breakfast is always good. Do we agree? Make sure that you thank them online. They're kicking off a Christmas campaign, and most of us in the room, or some of us, know Tony, and Tony was actually going to talk about it, and I'm looking around the room, and I don't think Tony, he has daycare issues in the morning with his kids, so we may not have arrived. So we're going to talk about the Christmas campaign, the Fill the Bus and Giving Tree, and how we can participate. So we'll talk about that after. So we're going to try and finish our presentation no later than, say, 10:15. So then if you could just stick around for a couple minutes, and we'll just get Tony to tell us about what's happening there. So in addition to Ad Rodeo and Melrose, at Tweetwell Pro is their Twitter handle is at Tweetwell. You guys get it? I left my coffee back there. Sorry. At Tweetwell Pro, and so The one thing that I forgot today is my notes. Printed, I mean. And I've known Chett for a long time, and I met her at Social Media Breakfast. Jamin Holmes, and so this was the first year that it was on, and a group of about, how many did you come with? 6 people came. It was just a wave of people, and came. And they had quite an impact that morning and have been influential in the each one of them in the social media field since then. Chett's been has spoken to us before, so there are some very many people that we've had speak to the group twice, and we're really excited to have her here. I was quite excited to hear that she's with she's working now with ATB. Oh, I don't know what's happening here. Sorry, with ATB and specifically in their Alberta booster. So. Did I say that right? And sorry. And so we were talking about crowdfunding, and I just find that crowdfunding has become a topic of conversation. And so when we were thinking about what we could do for a topic for this month, it seemed like a natural fit that we actually explore the world of crowdfunding a little bit. So Chett was willing to actually speak to that. So Chett, I'm going to try and get, if you want to come up, I'm going to try and get your presentation up here. So if you could, oh, and you know what, I'm the wrong one, sorry. If you want to start talking about it. So welcome here.
Thank you. It's great to be here. It's super exciting. And actually, Donna may have forgotten that this is actually my 3rd time presenting, so I think I've been sneaking through the back door. Okay. So as Donna had mentioned, I work with ATB Financial on their Emerge team. And so essentially what that means is we're an innovation, fast firing wheel on the side of ATB. We look at different business models to test and implement into the marketplace. And so one of the first business models that we got to really test is crowdfunding. And so that's why I'm here to speak with you all today. I'll do a little dance. Kill some time here.
I'm sorry, Chett, we'll get it going.
Okay. Oh, we've had a lot of technical difficulties today, and admittedly, it's all my fault. I've also converted my keynote presentation to PowerPoint last minute, so there might be some straight up ugliness. So please brace yourself for that. Okay, there we go.
It's the down arrow.
Perfect.
Okay, so you're good, or do you want me to?
I'm good, yeah. I'm also a hand talker, so if I start going like this, someone maybe just like wave at me. Before I get into crowdfunding, however, I'm going to digress just a little bit and talk about the power of social media. So the true power of social media to me always has been and always will be the power of the online community connecting with the offline community. Boom. And that's one of the reasons why I love Social Media Breakfast so much, is because it's a great, perfect representation of that, those two worlds coming together in a perfect harmony. But being a presenter and also being an attendee for many years, one of the interesting challenges that I've witnessed is for a presenter to present their topic in a way that both resonates with the people in the audience and resonates with people online as well. Because as I'm looking around right now, people are busy looking down at their phones, tweeting away. And one of the things that I love about the Social Media Breakfast is that that's not only encouraged, but it's welcomed on all fronts. So please continue to do that. But with that in mind, I took it upon myself to recruit 2 special people to help me deliver this presentation today. I'd like to introduce you to. I know what you're thinking, and yes, that is a cheesy iStock photo. However, he also has a name and a Twitter persona. His name is Mr. Skeptic. And I'd also like to introduce you to my alter ego, Chett12, my Twitter persona. While I'm conversing with you today, I've also timed out some tweets to help me convey my presentation through the Twitter hashtag SMByyc as I'm communicating with you today. So this is an interesting social experiment, so fingers crossed it all works out. It also puts some interesting time pressure on Donna this morning, so my apologies, Donna, for that. So let's see how this goes. So as I am talking today, you may notice some of the tweets pop up on the tweet wall. So again, thank you so much, tweet wall, for coming today to demonstrate this fascinating and amazing technology. I love it. All right, so let's get to it. What is crowdfunding from Mr. Skeptic? Well, that is a great question. And there's 3 things that I want to talk about here. So one is there's over 500 crowdfunding platforms out there in the marketplace. And so when it comes to navigating and deciding what crowdfunding platform to use, it's helpful to break it down into 4 different categories. And so one category is the donation crowdfunding platform. The second category is the rewards-based crowdfunding platform. The third is lending-based, and the fourth is equity-based. However, for the sake of this conversation, I'm going to set context around rewards-based crowdfunding. So for those who don't know what that is, essentially what a rewards-based crowdfunding platform is that someone who has a project, specifically a business that I'm going to be speaking to, if a business has an idea, a business ask, they can go to a crowdfunding platform, create a story around their business ask, convey it in a very compelling manner, and then create rewards in exchange for micro amounts of funding. So a reward can be a product, a service, or an experience. Yeah, got it, but why would a business use rewards-based crowdfunding? Well, you are just full of great questions, Mr. Skeptic. And there are 3 reasons that I am going to speak to today. One, from a business's perspective, I don't know if anyone else has had this experience in the room, but oftentimes when it comes to getting a small amount of money from a traditional financial institution, chances are 9 out of 10 times you'll probably get denied, unfortunately. However, with crowdfunding, you have that opportunity to get an alternative form of funding to get to the place that your business needs to be. 2 is around control. And so oftentimes when a business gets money from a different source other than themselves, the control and the rules and the logistics on how that company needs to spend that funding often are out of the power of the business owner itself. So what crowdfunding does is brings the control back to the business owner. And then 3 is around engaging and building your community. I have a marketing background, and so one thing that I love seeing is the amount of creativity that business owners put into their crowdfunding campaigns, and it really gives them an authentic way to market and communicate what they're doing and where they're going. I've seen crowdfunding, people use crowdfunding platforms as a way to acquire new customers, as a way to build their community, and as a way to get further and faster as a business. Okay, but over 500 platforms, where does the business start? Also, really great question. So when it comes to thinking about where to start, there are 2 main questions that I invite a business owner to think about. And one is, what type of business do you own? Is it a startup? Are you a brick and mortar? Are you a ma and pa shop? Are you a local coffee shop in the corner? Etc. Are you an enterprise, etc., etc. And number 2 is, do you have local or international marketing verticals? Because what platform you choose really depends on the type of audience that you currently have created, the type of community that you already have created, and the type of community and audience and target demographics that you can tap into potentially. So let's take a look at 3 different platforms: Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and Alberta Booster. So how many people have heard of Kickstarter before? Please raise your hands. Okay, so I am talking to a very savvy audience. That's always wonderful to see. So Kickstarter is focused on in the creative world, so creation. And they have stricter guidelines around what type of projects can go on Kickstarter. So your project, from a business perspective, has to fit into one of these categories: art, comics, dance, design, fashion, film, food, games, music, photography, publishing, technology, and theater. So Kickstarter campaigns cannot be used to fund websites or apps focused on e-commerce, business, and social networking, and everything on Kickstarter must be a project with a beginning and an end. The success rate of campaigns on the Kickstarter platform is 42%. The model is all or nothing funding. So what I mean by that is a campaign has to fit their desired campaign goal in order to receive any of the funds raised on the platform. And they have an 8% fee of the total money raised, along with 20 cents per pledge in the Canadian Kickstarter realm spectrum. Indiegogo. How many people have heard of Indiegogo? Okay, fantastic. So Indiegogo, the guidelines around the campaign perimeters for Indiegogo are a little bit more flexible. Basically, anyone who has a project that needs funding can use Indiegogo. Their success rate, interesting point about Indiegogo is that they don't share their success rate as openly as Kickstarter, and one of the reasons why is because the way that they define success is a little bit different. Because they have a flexible funding model, which means you can either because they have a flexible funding model, which means that if you reach your goal, they'll only take 4% of the money raised, and if you don't reach your goal, there's 9%. But because of that, no matter what you do, you get the money raised on the platform. And so because of those reasons, it's a little bit ambiguous as to what exactly success means or the success rates are. But with that being said, they do share that 80% fail to hit 20% of their goal. So that's very interesting and a lot different than Kickstarter, and some of the reasons why is because the research that I've done anyways says that if you set a goal and you won't get the money raised unless you hit that goal, the campaign owner is that much more energized and inspired and excited and committed to reaching that goal. And so they'll continue to be consistent and continue to push out their campaign to the relevant networks. And then lastly here we have Alberta Booster. And so full disclaimer, Alberta Booster is a project that I work on and I manage. And it really came from ATP's perspective, it came from the impetus of trying to help a small to medium-sized business in a way that traditionally we can't. And so with Alberta Booster, you have to be the requirements for a campaign is that you have to be a registered Alberta-owned business and looking to raise anywhere from $2,000 to $25,000. We launched our beta in April, so we've been around for about 8 or 9 months, and we first launched our beta in Grand Prairie to test the marketplace and get feedback and then build on our product. And what we're learning so far is people are liking it and have helped us build a case so far to launch again in Edmonton and now province-wide. And so what we're seeing on our platform so far, we're having a success rate of 32%. It is an all or nothing model, and again, we were inspired from really the Kickstarter model because having a campaign goal and helps a business owner stick with it and be encouraged and inspired to continue to push out to the networks, and as well from a transparency perspective. So with Alberta Booster, a business owner needs to have a business ask in order to set a desired funding goal. And so if you're Joe's from Joe's Pizzeria and a pizza oven costs $10,000, but you only raised $4,000, there's a lot of transparency questions that could arise. And we thought the best way to really help and empower business owners would be to set all or nothing funding model. Alberta Booster is still in beta, and right now our transaction fee is 2.9%, and that 2.9% goes to our payment processor, which is Stripe. Interesting. Well, show me the money. How can a business be successful through crowdfunding? Another great question. Easy Tiger, let's take a look at some businesses that have been successful. So let's first start with Kickstarter. How many people have heard about the famous Pebble campaign? Anyone know what Pebble is? Okay, a few. So what Pebble is a new technology. They make customized watches. And so from their perspective, it's something really new, really interesting, really exciting. They created rewards around people pre-buying a Pebble watch, and then they also released rewards around releasing the SDK coding so that coders can get started on developing apps ahead of anybody else. And so they created their own sub-app marketplace. Really cool, really innovative. Anyways, they ended up shooting far past their, I think it was 100,000 goal to over $10 million. So it was really, really exciting to see crowdfunding really support the tech community in that way. Oh, so you must have to be a fancy high-tech startup to be successful in crowdfunding? Well, no, not exactly. If we look at Indiegogo, they also have a lot of small businesses using their platform. For example, a yoga studio from San Francisco, they created a campaign around launching a new type of class for their open spinning studio. And so what they did to raise money, they had a $25,000 goal and they ended up raising over $30,000. And what they did was they pre-sold memberships to their spinning classes, and it ended up being wildly successful. And then also, if you look at a more local example, Poppy Barley is an Edmonton-based company. They've been around for about a year now, and they make made-to-measure boots for women. And so what they did, they came to Alberta Booster with a story around wanting to launch their new fall boot line. And so they wanted to raise $10,000, and in exchange for funding, they gave their community, they pre-sold their fall boot line to their community. They created rewards around flying people down to go and see cheerleaders who are wearing their Poppy Barley boots. They created rewards around flying people down to go to Mexico to see firsthand where Poppy Barley boots are made. And they ended up being wildly, wildly successful. They had a $10,000 goal, and they raised close to $30,000. So this really helped, a local Edmonton business that didn't have a very big network, and all of these campaigns, they have a few things in common, and one of them is they received great market validation. They all had a new idea, didn't know how it was going to be received, decided to jump out, get some reaction, and receive some great market validation to take their business to the next level. So all of these businesses are so different. What's the secret recipe to a successful crowdfunding campaign? Well, I like to call it the secret sauce. And what the secret sauce is, on a very simple level, it's story plus rewards plus promotion equals success. And so if you have a really compelling story that people can unite around and get excited about, and you create rewards that are really compelling to your consumers and potential customers, and you know how to promote yourself, and you're comfortable promoting yourself, and you're creative, and you are consistent and out there, chances are you'll be successful. This isn't all rainbows and sunshine. Give me the numbers. Okay, I had a feeling you'd ask me that. So what we're finding through some of the research that I've been doing is smaller goals are more attainable. The average successful crowdfunding campaign is around $7,000. The average campaign lasts around 9 weeks, and what we're finding through research is a shorter timeline puts more of an urgency on a campaign. And so from a consumer's perspective, it gives them more of an incentive to act sooner, and from a business owner's perspective, it keeps them on top of things and continues to keep them energized to reach their goal faster, as opposed to any type of procrastination that may come into play if the campaign was longer. Campaigns that gain 30% of their goal within the first week are more likely to succeed. So that sounds all fun and games, but how do people do that? Well, what we've been noticing is, well, through Booster, for example, is really the only example that I can speak to, is that a lot of people are launching their campaign with a launch party. And so they'll have their rewards on display, and people will come in and immediately start purchasing their rewards on the day that they launch. Some other things people have been doing is first doing a soft launch campaign with their friends, their partners, really anyone that's already connected to the business to, again, raise some of that initial capital. And what I find particularly interesting about this is some of the psychology behind it. So as a consumer's perspective, when you land on a crowdfunding campaign and you're excited about the story and there's rewards there that you really want to participate in, but no one else has bought anything, something starts to trigger in your head and you go, well, if no one else is doing this, something must be wrong, or I don't want to be the first one to jump into something scary and unknown and not really know what's going to happen. So by having some initial capital on the crowdfunding campaign page, a lot of those stories that people start to make up disappear. Now's my favorite time, Q&A. That's it. 140. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, you in the back.
Do you have any information on average donation amounts?
Yeah, well, from the average funding amount on Alberta Booster is $106. I do not know the national statistic on that, though. Sorry. You?
Can you explain the difference between the rewards-based model versus the donation model? You just briefly mentioned it at the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. So crowdfunding from a donation perspective, so say if you're a nonprofit or a charity, there's a lot of great crowdfunding platforms out there for them to utilize. And essentially what that means from the crowdfunding perspective is that you have a platform to then market out to your donor base and raise money in return for really oftentimes nothing. Sometimes there's fundraising platforms that offer a reward, but they're usually something that have a very low cost point to them to make it more incentive for a nonprofit or charity to participate in.
Yeah. And do you have any recommendations of good platforms for a donation-based model?
I don't have any recommendations, but I could follow up with you and send you some resources. Yeah, so just connect with me after.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Any questions? Crowdfunding? Yes, you.
So what kind of rewards do you find work best for getting people involved?
That's a great question. So from what we're learning anyways from Alberta Booster is what I can speak to the most. From the business owner's perspective, they're finding that the consumers have a what's in it for me attitude. And so rewards that have a discounted price. So for example, Poppy Barley, their standard boot price goes for $400. And so they were giving $50 discounts to their community. And so what that did for Poppy Barley was it raised initial capital to source their product and launch. In the meantime, giving their consumers something really exciting and enticing to participate in. And also rewards that offer some kind of fun experience. So again, I'm going to mention Poppy Barley. For I think it was like $2,500, you could go fly down to Mexico and go out with the Poppy Barley team, go for dinner, wine, etc., get some boots. It was just an experience that consumer would not have had without the opportunity of participating in the crowdfunding. So it was very, very unique. Yes?
I was just thinking, this seems a lot like the PBS model. They've been using for years, like where you donate and you get some sort of prize or reward back. So in terms of what you offer for a reward, is it important to make sure that the cost of that reward is not so great that it makes the donation or that comes in irrelevant?
Yeah, absolutely. There's been a lot of news around that actually. There's been a few campaign owners who have not done the math beforehand and ended up selling more than was actually profitable for their business. And what we've done on Alberta Booster actually is through the campaign application process on step 3, when you're shaping your rewards, there's also a little math section. And so if your reward costs this much money and you sell you sell your reward for this much, this is how much you're actually gaining. And so it just helps campaign owners be a little bit more conscious when creating their rewards. Any other questions? Yes?
So is Alberta Booster actually funding projects right now, or because it's in the beta stage, or not?
Yeah, we're funding projects right now. I think we have 5 on there right now. We've ran about 30 businesses through the platform. We have about 15 in the queue right now. We're still in beta, but we're in our 3rd phase of testing, and this phase of testing is all about scalability. So discovering whether or not it's not an actual viable product that Albertans love and want to participate in, and something that will continue to bring value to small to medium-sized businesses in Alberta. Yes?
I'd like to ask a question that you probably covered while I wasn't listening, but the success rate. So when you say a percentage success rate, what does that mean? And for those experiences that weren't a success, what contributed to that? Is there a common reason for that?
Yeah, great question. Okay, so first one, what does success mean? So it really depends on what platform you're referring to. From Kickstarter's perspective, they define success as hitting their desired goal on their platform. So if your goal was $10,000, if you hit 10,000 or above, your campaign is successful. From Indiegogo's perspective, because they have a flexed funding model approach, they are a little bit more ambiguous with how they define success, because no matter what goal you set, as long as you raise money and you're happy, you are successful. From Alberta Booster's perspective, we've been really pushing ourselves in our definition of success because of some of the gems and stories that we've been discovering throughout this testing process. And so right now, the number that I showed you, that success rate, is really dependent on business owners hitting their desired goal, raising their desired goal or past their intended goal. However, there was this unique case, and a few of them similar to this, but there was a woman from Grand Prairie. Her business is called Belt to Drive Betty, and she wanted to raise money to buy cameras to strap onto her motorcycle so she could film a television series in partnership with Eastlink TV as she biked from one end of the country to the other side of the country. She had a goal of raising around $10,000, and she did not hit her goal. But one of the exciting things that we found was that instead of raising the money, she actually found someone had heard about her campaign and offered to give her the cameras that she wanted in exchange for sponsorship on her website. And sponsorship on her website was actually one of the rewards that she was offering. And so from our perspective, that was really an exciting story to share with the community, because it really spoke to the marketing potential that the platform has for small to medium-sized business owners. And so your second question was, why do campaigns fail? There's lots of different reasons. And it really comes down to the secret sauce. So the story plus rewards plus promotion equals success. Sometimes the story is a little weak. We're finding that some of the research that I've done, businesses that have a little bit more of a negative spin on their story, like for example, if they were about to shut down and they're looking for funds to stay alive, from a consumer's perspective, even if they love the store and they love the rewards, there's that fear of the business shutting down and not getting the reward in the end. 2 is around rewards. So sometimes business owners are a little hesitant to put some cost behind the rewards, and so essentially the rewards just become not very appealing. And so for example, if a reward is a $50 reward to get a $50 coupon for the store, there's not really any value in that for the consumer, and so those rewards aren't as enticing. And then lastly is around promotion. Business owners that find it a little hard or challenging to market their business and talk about the amazingness that they are, oftentimes struggle when it comes to raising capital through crowdfunding.
So just to follow up, so when we're hearing about crowdfunding, and we hear about success rate, does it matter So I'm going to give you one example. I was part of a conversation where somebody had done, I believe they were trying to raise $100,000. I don't know what the actual amount it read. It was in the, I think it was in the 70,000. But they said, well, we actually got the whole amount, but it didn't go through there. So we actually got $100,000, but it did, for whatever reason, it didn't appear in there. So by definition, it would have been not a success because they didn't raise it all through the platform. What I'm wondering is that because it's a time frame, so there was an X number of days put on it, and if they didn't raise the money within those number of days, is that how that works?
Well, again, I can only speak to Alberta Booster,
yeah,
my experience with Alberta Booster. Is what we're finding is because some of these businesses are so local, some people would prefer to give them an offline what we call boost. And so what we encourage our campaign owners to do is to create an offline booster account. So if I was Chett from Chetteria and I sell pizzas, I would create a booster account that said Chetteria offline boost, and then on our platform I would buy the rewards that my offline community had bought, and then I'd create an update to share who had bought what rewards, to one, give them recognition, and two, to continue to be extremely transparent with my community.
So is there, sorry, I'll ask one more follow-up. Is there a negative connotation to not getting to 100% on your crowdfunding? Like, so you decide that you want to raise $15,000, you only get to 10. Is there a problem with that the next time? Or I struggle with this, not because of your presentation, that's been one of the things I've been thinking about. It's just what happens, because a lot of them I see within one day and they're this much from their goal. I'm assuming that they still get the money, right? They just didn't raise as much money as they wanted. So is there is there a negative connotation with that in some way? And maybe not.
I'm an inherent optimist. So I think it depends on the story of the business and what they uniquely get out of their campaign. I believe that if you put time and energy into creating it and you're authentic about it, no matter what happens, it's a positive outcome. Whether it be, and if you don't, you didn't hit your funding goal, but you get your desired product in exchange for some type of barter, that's awesome, that's successful. Or on the maybe not so happy side, you realize that what you were extremely passionate about, you didn't receive any market validation, right? So that might be like a tough pill, a tough thing to swallow. But I think it's great to know before you actually launch. And so a lot of business owners use crowdfunding as a way to experiment and see what works and what doesn't work. Hi.
If you were, say, getting towards the end of your time period and you were worried you weren't going to hit your goal, is there an option to extend the time period by a couple weeks?
So with Kickstarter, I don't believe there is. With Indiegogo, there is an option to extend, and with Alberta Booster, there also is an option. Yes?
I have a friend who's a filmmaker in Vancouver, and so I don't think he's been able to follow online yet because he might not be up. But I've told him to check in on the hashtag and the conversations later. It's his first crowdsourcing campaign that he started to make a film. What kind of advice would you give to somebody like that? I think he's using the Indiegogo platform. I'm not sure I can tweet out later.
So just to repeat your question, you have a friend from BC?
From Vancouver. He's a filmmaker. He's an established filmmaker, but he has an opportunity to make a new film. And he's using the crowdfunding approach in order to raise the funds. He has all the other pieces in place. He needs basically the money to travel to Colombia. Yep. To do
That's really exciting.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, and he does a lot of other stuff. He's
You should tweet at the link.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, nice. So the recommendation or the advice that I'd give to him and what I give to all business owners is to look at other campaigns. Look at what's been done already. Look at what's worked. Kickstarter is a great example of some film directors who have had wildly successful campaigns. And so what I would do is look at their story, look at their promotion tactics, and then also look at the rewards. And so from a film director's perspective, I think it really comes around experience-based rewards. And so what type of experience could he give his community that's never been done before, or that has been done before and has really worked and got people really excited about it? Any other questions? Right at the back.
Yeah, go ahead. Just start off, Chett.
Yeah, you had mentioned examples of Kickstarter or crowdfunding parties, like launch parties. Can you talk a little bit more about that, or perhaps name like your top 2 that you've noticed that have been really great and successful, and what perhaps they've done, or even just one?
Yeah, for sure. So
like the kind of crowd they bring in, where they've done it, what kind of atmosphere perhaps they've created in order to make that successful, how they've reached out to an audience to bring them in.
Okay, yeah, for sure. So I think it depends on what type of business it is and any event that you throw, you wanna have it be consistent with your branding. So if you are Melrose and you're starting a crowdfund campaign, best place to do that would probably be at Melrose. One of the things that we're trying to do with Alberta Booster, and that we have done before that has been pretty successful, is we held a launch party for 3 businesses in Edmonton. And so what we did was we invited a whole bunch of social media influencers from Edmonton, and then also some political candidates. And so right away, we had a lot of opportunity for the press and media to grab onto what we're doing, which helps extend the event, again, from the offline world into the online world, which I'm a huge, huge fan of. So I think one of the biggest takeaways from what I'm rambling about is if you can create an experience that is both offline and online to make it go further, farther, and faster, all the power to you, and all the better it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions?
Here.
Yes.
So you said that you charge 2.9% for fees.
Yes.
Is this, are you looking at this as an opportunity to like generate revenue for ATB, and what do you see those fees going up to?
So from ATB's perspective, again, it is in beta still, so we are testing to see what works and what doesn't work, and we're finding from the business owner's perspective a 2.9% fee is really appealing and enticing, because it does keep those charges low. And from ATB's perspective, we are going to be testing different things, but in the short term to medium term, I don't see those fees changing. I actually see this as more of an opportunity for ATB to engage in a market that we haven't had the opportunity to engage in before. Yes, in the back. In the back.
Chett, just going back to that discussion about launch parties and so on. Since the system's still in beta, building that out, is there a cost of adding a component of the Eventbrite integration or something along those lines? Kind of build that as one kind of central repository for social or engagement or conversation or building the buzz as well as launch for that campaign?
That's a fantastic idea.
Can you just reiterate?
Yeah, so to repeat the question, the question was, is there an opportunity to build in more social components into Alberta Booster so that we could potentially marry, Eventbrite and other social components with a booster campaign? Love that idea. That's excellent. If you have any other ideas, please keep them coming. Tweet me, email me, etc. But one way that we have, and so when it comes to implementing really any new product enhancement, first it always comes down to testing. So one way that we have actually been testing an idea that's similar to that is to have business owners sell tickets to events through rewards on the platform. So depending on how that test goes, could help us create a really compelling case to integrate something more formally with Eventbrite. Yeah.
I'd be curious how many people in the room have actually contributed dollars to a fund, to
Well, that's a great question. How many people have supported a crowdfunding campaign before? Awesome.
So my follow-up question to that is, was it the reward or the product or idea that grabbed you?
Hands up for the story, if that's why you contributed. Hands up for the reward, if that's why you contributed. Hands up if it was someone you know and you just wanted to support them. Nice. Any other reasons that I missed that made you want to contribute to a campaign? Okay. So maybe I'll add. What's that?
With the money burning a hole in your pocket.
Yeah. Because we all have that money tree in our backyards, right? Yeah. Okay, well, there's a lot of amazing events going on in Calgary. One is the Unconference for Social Good this Saturday. I definitely invite you to go out and attend. They're going to be focusing on the art of framing a story. So if you are a small business or a nonprofit or a charity, please go out and check that out. It will definitely be very valuable, especially if you're wanting to create a crowdfunding campaign in the future. And you can talk to this lovely, what's your Twitter handle?
At Smashing Darling.
Smashing Darling, offline or online. And thank you, everyone. On the tables today, Melrose left a piece of paper outlining some details about their campaign. Tony has arrived in the house, and I'm just going to give him the mic and let him talk a little bit about, and if you want to tell me what you want online. Sorry. Okay, so I'll do that one.
Yeah. Hi everyone. Sorry I was late, got caught in traffic, so get to hear from me now. We're very excited to start this campaign. I don't know if you guys all saw that little sheet of paper there. It's called The Giving Tree. We're partnering with Cool 101.5 FM, and another sub-partner would be Country Hills Toyota. Sorry, I always confuse them with someone else. But in the dining room, if you take a look, there's a big giant Christmas tree in there, and we are going to be taking donations to support the Magic of Christmas, which is a totally volunteer charity here in Calgary that on Christmas Eve they actually take transit buses and deliver stuff to families in need. We chose this particular charity because they've kind of been hit a little bit hard, sort of as an after effect of what happened with the floods. A lot of their bigger donors this past year came to them and actually said, sorry, we can't do it this year. We directed all our funds to the flooding. So now they're kind of in a bind where they're trying to get normally what they would have, and we're just trying to help fill that void. So our goal here at Melrose is actually to fill a bus, one city transit bus, and that's going to be the hashtag we're using. Our staff starting tonight are going to be wearing 2 different colored t-shirts. So one here says The Giving Tree, and then this one here is Fill the Bus.
Tony, we might have lost internet on here.
Okay, we lost internet, but there's a tweet going out from the Melrose account that's got a video that they explained it a hell of a lot better than I did just now. And that's Tarzan, Dan, and Nikki from the Cool Morning Show, and the owner Wayne did a quick little video just to explain it all. The little twist that we did do though is if you do donate a toy or money or a food item, you actually get a ballot from here at Melrose, and your name gets thrown in the draw, and that's what the Giving Tree is. So on the Giving Tree there's going to be 40 different prizes. Country Hills Toyota is donating a $5,000 winterize / pimp your ride. And then we also have a $1,000 gift voucher from Travel Center. There's a Flames package, and then a whole bunch more stuff that we have kind of coming down the pipe. We're just working with our suppliers to try to get those donations in. But what we're going to do on December 15th is draw all the names for that. So 40 lucky winners are actually going to get them and a guest get a full turkey dinner here at Melrose, plus their name gets drawn, and then everyone gets to go take a turn up and pull one of the envelopes off the tree, and you get that prize.
Okay, so there's going to be more information. We're, sorry, I don't know, we're having funky problems with the slides today. But December we typically don't have a social media breakfast, but we try and do something different. and to still get together. So we're going to do something. I will give you a heads up. It's going to be on December 15th. It's going to be here. It's going to be in conjunction with Melrose's campaign, and we're going to announce details on December 1st. So check the Twitter feed. We'll make sure that the video for the campaign is in Social Media Breakfast Twitter feed. And I think that thanks, Chett, for the presentation. Crowdfunding. I've participated in a few myself lately, and the rewards had nothing to do with it, and it's got me thinking about. I've been thinking a lot about that. So really appreciate all the comments that you made today. Appreciate you guys all coming. And I think that's, make sure if you haven't got your headshot that you slip back here and talk to Neil. And we shall see you again. Thanks.